everyone, welcome back to Renaissance Rocha. My name is Andrew Rocha. I'm a Canadian goalie and aspiring YouTuber. Hockey has allowed me to travel the world and experience so many cool adventures. This is part 2 of my interview with British ice hockey writer Anthony Russell. In this video, we talk about hockey in Finland, as well as the different leagues associated with the country. So, without further ado, let's get into the video.
Just for sort of context, what I'm doing for my pieces, we're living in the content age, right? And kind of about creating content around hockey, why people are doing it, kind of people at sort of opposite ends of the spectrum, because you're quite new and your channel is still growing. You're just about to hit 500 subscribers. The other person I've spoken to so far is a guy called Hayden. I don't know if you're aware of him. He runs a channel called Odd Man Rush. So he is a British person. He lives in East Anglia. So the east, if you look at a map of England, the sort of lump on the right-hand side of England at the bottom. And his channel, he does exclusively like NHL content on his channel. But he has like 35,000 subscribers, of which, so he lives in Britain. His audience is 2% British. His audience is pretty much all North Americans. So I'm kind of looking at like why people do content about stuff. Like what's the pull of doing it about hockey is turning like as a player, it's effectively your job, but you're sort of turning your job into almost like a hobby and a side hustle at the same time. So I'm just kind of, because as you might, like, I sent you a link at some of the links about some of the stuff I've done, and I do lots of kind of sort of historical pieces and player interviews. And for me, I'm just trying to kind of tinker and experiment with kind of doing different formats just to kind of keep my writing muscles kind of a bit sharp, especially heading towards the off season. Because that's kind of a time for me to kind of do more and more pieces like this when there's no games and all I'm left is like watching Australian hockey at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, so looking at bits and pieces for you, because I'm just trying to double check from my notes where I haven't written down where you're originally from, but you obviously spent I mean, I'm guessing for the most part, Ontario.
Yeah, I'm from Ontario. So I'm from a town called, or like a city called Sudbury. I'm actually from a smaller village called Whitefish.
Watched Shoresy. I'm aware of Sudbury.
Yeah, Shoresy. That's actually where I'm based. So like the rinks they play out of, like I've played there growing up. So yeah, Shoresy's that's like my hometown basically. Actually, one of the rooms I think there was Countryside, and the university I think played out of that room for a while. Like that was their home dressing room. They folded recently, so there's no team there anymore. But so yeah, I guess from the last 2 years, I've spent most of my time in Finland. But yeah, my home base is Sudbury.
So I suppose the big question, because you're elite prospects, you spent a chunk of time you bounced around a little bit pre-pandemic in the Northern Ontario Junior League. Yep. And then of course like the pandemic blows everything to Kingdom Come. Yeah,
basically.
Finland. Why? How?
Why Finland? So the pandemic season, I was kind of trying to get my feet wet in Europe somewhere. I didn't really care where, to be honest. I tried to get like a few contacts. I met a goalie at a professional goalie school in, I think it was Minneapolis, and he was playing in Finland, and he knew a guy. So then he kind of gave me his number, and it wasn't like a direct thing. Like I didn't use that contact right away. It kind of like came later. So then I reached out to him, and then he kind of found me something in Finland. The first year with the pandemic, I was supposed to try to get to Sweden actually. And then with the pandemic, everything kind of just got scrapped. And then I was actually practicing with the youth sports team, Laurentian University. And then again, that team folded because the university ran out of money. So that was my goal, was to try to like play there. But then when that team kind of went, then I didn't really have anywhere to go. And there wasn't really a chance of me making like a youth sports team anywhere else really, just because of my resume. So then from there, I've always wanted to play in Europe. So then like that was my next goal. And I wasn't sure if I was going to even get the chance to play in Europe again. So there was a chance I wasn't going to play hockey anymore. So then when I got a call in Finland, I was like, I just kind of jumped on it. I'm like, well, it's now or never, either take it or leave it kind of thing. Right. So if you spend, I think, more than like a year off from hockey, it's kind of hard, I think, to jump back in. I mean, it's not impossible, but it just makes things a lot more difficult. So I jumped on that opportunity, and then I was playing in Moik for their second team. So I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Finnish like leagues, how they break down.
I have like a rough idea because there's a guy a guy I know over here who's Finnish who plays in the second team in Basingstoke, who's tried to explain it to me, though it sounds very, very convoluted and it gets very regionalized.
Yeah, I can try to give you like my perspective on it, like how I've understood it. So we have like Liga, which is like the top league, which is
Mm.
like pretty. Like that's like the
where Britain's best player is playing at the moment, and we're all like desperately hoping he ends up back in the NHL with Arizona.
Yeah, so that's like the top league, and then they have Mestis, which is the second highest league in Finland. And I would say both of those leagues are very like professional. I would say Mestis, like the quality of hockey is very high, but I would say like from what I understand, like the pay and like the contracts are not very good. And then Division 1, again, really good hockey, but it's like it would be considered, I think, professional in like most countries, but like for the skill wise. But I just think because of there's no money and there's not a lot of fans, it's not really like regarded as high, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then I play in Division 2, which is one below that. And then last year I started in Division 3. So I'd say Division 2, you get a bit more regional. I'd say like we travel, like we have a pretty long road trip, like there's a Finland map behind me. We travel, I think like eight hours is like our longest or something like that. So we're like, we kind of play in the northern, like we're in the northernmost division. And I don't exactly remember how many there are for like all the divisions, but the winner, it's like relegated systems. So like the winner of Division 2 can move up. The winner of Division 1 can move up to Mestis. I think there's a cap, so there's no movement between Liga and the Mestis league.
No, I knew the league was closed, but
yeah. And then I know in the before the season starts, they have like the Suomen Cup, like the Finnish Cup. And then there's teams from Division 2, Division 1, and Mestis. So all those teams play for a championship. Yeah. So it kind of works. I think the Division 2 teams play first and the winners go up. And then if they win versus this Division 1 teams, which is rare, but like it could happen, then they would theoretically play the Mestis teams for the winner, is how I've understood it. And then it's hard to compare to North American hockey because the style is quite different. And the age is different. So when I was playing junior, like to me, I think this like Division 2 here is better than like junior A when I was playing, but it's also, it's a different style. Like I find it's rougher in North America. Yeah. And again, like I'm playing with older guys now, so it's like they're smarter. Yeah. Because of their experience. So it's hard to kind of play, but I definitely feel like I'm playing a higher level in Division 2 than I was playing in Junior A back home. Yeah. However, I think Junior A was better than Division 3. I don't think Division 3 here was like the highest. Well, I mean, you have good players from everywhere because like some of the higher players,
the overall quality week in week out is not as high as some of the stuff you've done, some of the stuff you were doing back home.
Because we were on the second team in Moik. It was kind of weird because they had a team in the Sumisarja, which is Division 1, and a Division 3. So they didn't have a Division 2. So when I was practicing, it was like that was like a big jump going from Division 3 to Division 1.
Yeah, jumping 2 leagues at once.
You're jumping 2 leagues, and like I felt pretty comfortable like in Division 1. Like I didn't think that was like that crazy to me. But I'm a goalie, so there's only one net. So kind of my plan this year was to I'd rather play Division 2 and get games than like try to scratch a Division 1 lineup and maybe not play very much.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this clip. I'll leave a link to the article written by Anthony in the description below. And if you guys want to check out more of my videos, subscribe. Okay? So, see you guys later.